Good morning! Today's the last day of the year. I'm really excited. So, I want to tell you guys. So yesterday I got on pretty early yesterday. It was like 8 o'clock in the morning yesterday. And I was just talking about how I asked God to increase my faith and he did it. And so I took that, and my encouragement for you guys was just, hey, if there's something you lack, ask God for it and just believe he'll do it. And so I took my own advice yesterday, and one of the things I prayed for was to for the gift of prophecy. And so in the Bible it says if you're going to ask for a gift, ask for prophecy. And so I was like, well, God, at the very least, because there's the spirit of prophecy, the gift of prophecy, and then the office of prophecy. And so the spirit of prophecy, if you're in the atmosphere where there's a lot of prophetic people, you'll be able to prophesy as well. Or just even if you just tap in it through the Holy Spirit, you can prophesy. And then the gift of prophecy is when you actually have the gift. So you're anointed to prophesy. And so that might come from words of knowledge, it might come from words of wisdom, it might just be whatever, or it might be actual prophecy. And then the office of the prophet is you're basically that's your job. You are the God's mouthpiece, and you're basically required to speak his word. And so I was well, I don't know about the other two, but I was at the very basics of prophecy, I want to be able, I want to do that. Have a word for somebody. And so that was my prayer that morning, right? And so then in church service yesterday, God gave me a word for someone. And I'm not going to go into detail because it's more so their testimony than it would be for me. But it's just the awesome part, my part of it. It's just how I asked for it and God, gave it to me. And it was cool because it was different than I've ever actually experienced it, because it was you need to go tell this person right now in this moment. And I was just I don't know about this. But I was all right. Once he said right now, because at first I was okay, I'll go, I'll tell them, after service or whatever. And God's no, you need to tell them right now. So I was all right. So I went around and I talked to them and told them whatever. And so that was really cool just to see, God is so faithful that, when you ask for something, those type of things, he'll give it to you. So that was pretty awesome. Guys, I wrote notes because I was I got some stuff to tell y'all. And I'm excited. So that was check off the first one. And so what? Oh yeah. So when it comes to this page and a lot of the stuff that I've been kind of doing more so recently, I really basically, one, it all came from just being obedient to God. So God was telling me, okay, do this, do this, do this. So God told me, on my birthday, well, let me backstory. So, I guess you guys will kind of sort of be familiar now that, I have 2 degrees in nutrition. I work in extension. So where I talk about nutrition, my whole focus is obesity prevention, with my audience. And so obviously, I know something about nutrition, right? And so meal planning is something I always offer for people. Hey, if you ever wanted, something like meal planning, someone to do it for you, walk you through it, kind of coach you through that. It's something I can do, willing to do. We can figure out that kind of stuff. And so but I had never really, if someone asked me, I would tell them. But I never publicly, advertised it or whatever. And so my mom is really great, guys. She's she just be telling everybody. I guess every mom, I guess a lot of people, moms do that. They just be bragging about their kids or telling, oh, this my child does this, my child. So my mama was talking about me, and she was talking about how she was talking to some of her coworkers, how they were talking about how they needed to, or had the desire to eat healthier and all that kind of this stuff. And my mom was just oh, well, my daughter, she does that for a living. She helps people, eat better and, get in shape or, lose weight or whatever, maintain weight or all that stuff. And so she told them that, and she said, oh, they was oh, yeah, well, I need her help. So then she reached out to me, and she was yeah, I have these ladies I want, who are interested. And, basically that was the opportunity. And so what I did in that moment, I was like, okay, cool. And she wanted me like something that she could give them. So like I just created up like it was like 3 pages where it was just like the first one was like meal planning by Alani, and then it was kind of like so I really sat down and thought about like, okay, if you're really gonna offer this, you need to have like one system of how you're gonna do this. So how they can contact me, which really just through my email. Email me, I'll email you back. And then it was just like different packages. So like what kind of things, like really I sat down and said, okay, this is what I'm going to offer. This is how long it'll be, like how long a program or session or whatever. And then also, like prices, because, this is work. Like the thing is like people will be like I see a lot where people will give you like offer like meal plans or whatever, like online, and they'll be like super cheap. Like I saw one that was like, oh, $10 a month. And yeah, that's really cool and all. But the thing is about those is just that they're giving you a meal plan that they already created. Like what they literally do is they create one and they just keep selling it, keep selling it, selling it, selling it, selling it. And so that's cool. But the only downside to those things is just that it won't be tailored to you, so it won't be tailored to your likes or anything like that. Anyway, then you really intend on going all the way into that. So basically what it was I created the thing, I gave it to mom, and then from there, and then that was pretty much the end of it. Like I didn't really hear back anything from those particular people or whatever. And that's cool. Like I'm not particularly pressed or anything, but it was more so in the exercise of me seriously going down and like writing stuff out, having it in like on paper. This is what I can do for you. And so then that was like August, right? So my birthday's in September, and I was literally in my kitchen. Was I cooking? I don't think I was cooking because I was going out to eat that day with my friends. And so I was just in the kitchen. I think I had bought groceries, and then I was putting up the groceries, and God was like, release it. And like he showed me like, the paper that I had, already created. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is like low-key stressful. Like I was low-key stressed over that one because I was like, I never won really, like it wasn't that I didn't think I was ready, because obviously I was like, I literally been doing this for years. But it was just like to really put it out there. It was like, I wasn't really expecting it, I guess you could say. Like, it was just like release it now type moments. But I did. And so, why did I tell y'all all that? I don't know. Oh, it fits. Okay, we're going somewhere. It's cool, right? So I did all that. And so, from there, God started telling me more of like other things to do. So like it was like, okay, the next thing you need to do is like you need to have like what I don't know if it was me or God, because sometimes I get confused like who was talking right now. I gotten a lot better, but back then I was definitely getting like, okay, who's talking for it right now? And so I was like, okay, well, I need a website, I need to have all this other stuff, and it's a lot of stuff when it comes to like websites. You have to have, gotta get a domain. It's like a lot of stuff. You gotta get hosting and all this other stuff. And so then I was like, okay, I have this long list of things I need to do just for that website. And then also I had another list for like other stuff. And then God kind of like pressed upon me to like create this Facebook page. And so I was like, okay. Well, then I also had a list for that. And so I was like, oh, I need this, I need this, I need this. And God was just like, yeah, no, I need you to do this. I need you to do this in this moment. And for one, this something that literally God just dropped in me, that it's so important to do it in God's timing. Do what he says in God's timing. Literally yesterday at church, we was talking about how, they were talking about for 2019 that some stuff we've been like holding on to, that literally the atmosphere is ready, that the audience is ready for what you have, and that you have to release it in that moment. And so like I feel like this is one of those situations where it was like, no, you need to release this. And like it was crazy because it was like I was doing the post, right? And like even before the post, like Facebook, when you add a new page, they have this little track thing of what you should do each day, or not necessarily a day, but for a week. Like it's a 4-week like kind of like tutorial of how you can, really amp up your page or whatever. And one of the things was the username. And at first, I literally got stuck on the username. I was like, oh, it has to be something like, or it has to have something with what it is and tie everything together. Like it has to be this, has to be this. And I was really stuck on that. And it was like, or you could just, do that later. Because the thing is, all these things that they say for you to do, you can really do it anytime. You can really go back and edit things. So it's like, you really don't have to do it in the moment, like those things that you feel like you have to do in that moment. There's like, sometimes we give ourselves we create these barriers for ourselves. Like, oh, well, I haven't done this, and I have to do this, this, and this, and this before I do this. Before I do what God told me to do, I have to do, because I say, or the world said, this is how this has to be. And it's not necessary, and it's not always the case. Like, you really have to focus on what God told you to do. And then everything else can come afterwards. And the thing is, it's like, if God told you to release this thing, do it, and then do the rest of whatever you feel like you need to do, or whatever God calls you to do next, because you never know. Like, literally, there's so much reward in your obedience. It's crazy. I'm gonna talk about that a little bit later, but just on this part. And so it was like the username, I didn't know. It was like a couple days, like I already had the page for a couple, like maybe like 2 weeks before. I was like, because I wanted it to just be my name, but then I already had that as my username for my personal Facebook page. And so then it really was just simple as creating a new one for that, and then using that my name for this one. Really simple, but it was like I was really stuck, because I was like, one person I'm familiar with is Ashley Empower. She talks a lot about godly dating. I think that's one of her main focus. So I was like, oh, I need something that kind of is like that, like lying this or something, like some type of word that kind of describes what I'm talking about. But the thing is, it's like, it's two different things. Talking about food, but I'm also talking about, faith. And so it's just like, don't get bogged down by those details. It's like, just do what the necessary it is to get what God has asked you to do. Do that, and then everything else comes around it. And so another thing was, it was like, okay, I kind of want to have like a hashtag to kind of link all of these videos together, right? And so like I was really struggling, like I just could not think of anything. And the thing is, when it comes to social media, it's something I kind of help my church with. Like I really help a lot with our media ministry, and that kind of includes social media. So I've been reading a lot, like doing a lot of research on that. And, they tell you the different things to help, get your page to attract more people or whatever. And so like, having like a hashtag or something like that helps people find you. And so like, I know all this stuff. And so I was trying to link all my things together with some type of hashtag. I was just like, yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything. And so, but I was like, because I remember one of the first ones, it might have been the first one or one of the first ones, I was really like hesitant to even start recording, because I was like, I don't have this hashtag, so, and I just don't know. But I was like, what, forget it. The thing is, you can go back and edit and add something in later. And so it was crazy. I was walking my dog, and I was walking my dog this morning, and I was kind of listening. I was listening to a prayer card, but also kind of just thinking, work. I was just thinking some things through. One thing I kind of do often, I sometimes think about conversations that I might have. Like, it originally stemmed from me having like anxiety, but now I still kind of do it. And it's kind of like, in some cases, it's like, oh, well, you shouldn't continue. I literally talked about this previously, like some of the habits and things that you had before you were delivered, you have to get rid of those. Like, you would have to change your mind. But then there's some things that God can still use. And I feel like that's one of those things. Because like, the thing is with me, it's like, well, actually in the Bible, it says, that you should have a reason, be able to give a reason for your faith. And so like, someone asks you, you should have something prepared already. How do you do that? Well, how I'm going to do this, I'm going to pretend like I'm talking to somebody in my head and like have that already listed out. So anyways, this is one of those things. And so like, the whole purpose of all these videos is to basically share testimonies. It's like, it's not really for me to be like, in this moment right now, it's not really scripture heavy. It's not really me preaching. It's just me sharing what God has done, what God's doing. And the thing is, it's like, in the word, it says that we overcome by the blood and the word of your testimony. It's funny because we talked about that in church yesterday, and God brought that back to me today. And literally, that's what, I haven't really signified like what that hashtag is going to be, but it's going to be around that. So basically, increasing faith, so through testimonies, and that's what all these videos are. So that's been really cool. Just that kind of eye-opening that God just gave it to me. And the thing was, it's like, I've been doing these videos for a couple, I want to say it's been at least 2 weeks, but I've done quite a few. I don't remember how long I've been doing these videos, but I've done quite a few, like, over the last couple, since I've been doing a lot. So just the thing, had I been waiting all this time, I didn't get that till today. All the videos that would never gone up, that just because of I didn't have that one thing, it's kind of crazy. So like, just to be encouraging, like, if God has told you to do something, like, don't worry about all the specifics or whatever, what you feel like you have to have done. Like, just go forth and do it, because like God will give you all the things you need, like, in that timing. So that has been really cool. Another thing on this whole same topic of just being obedience, God gave me this morning. That's why I'm really like, I was like, oh, I have to get on this morning and let y'all know what happened, right? So at the beginning of this year, one of the pages I was following, they were talking about like coaching, like to help people like really understand who they are and then how they should do their next year, So basically plan for their next year, how they should move, what God might be speaking to them or whatever about. And so like I was really interested, particularly at the beginning of this year, because the person had it on sale. Like usually it's like over $100 for an hour of their time, and it's either with them or like one of their like leaders. And so, but at the beginning of this year, they had knocked it down to like, it's usually like 125, I believe. They had knocked it down to like 90. I was like, okay, that's a pretty good deal. And so, but for whatever reason, I just kind of was like, no, I think I might be good. Like, I'm okay, right? And so then today, they had their prayer call, and then they was offering the same exact thing starting in January. And I was like, yeah, I'm good on that. And then God kind of revealed to me, like, literally your obedience, like you being obedient, you doing what I told you to do. So I told you guys on the mentor one, the video on mentoring, that God basically told me to ask this lady to be my mentor, somebody I didn't really know. Actually, I didn't know at all. Like, I had seen her a couple of times, like twice before. She told me, God told me to ask her to be my mentor. And then God revealed to me today that's like, oh, because you were obedient, you got access, you gained access. Literally, like she could, I think she might be one of the people that the person also uses to help coach people. And literally, I'm getting this for free now because I was obedient to God, and now I have this relationship that's already been created, and I didn't have to pay for it. And I'm literally getting way more than 1 hour's worth of her time, just because I asked her and because I was obedient. So like, if that nothing else, like when God tells you, hey, you should do this, like definitely go forth and do it, because you never know like what's on the other side of that. It's so much that it's like really crazy. Like, lucky blowing my mind. Like, it's crazy because literally I was willing to pay for it, and because I was obedient, because I've already sown into that ministry, it's just like God was like, here's access to this person who's going to help you like along with your next season. And I think that's just been super awesome. So yeah, this one's a little bit longer than usual, but that was cool. So yeah, that's pretty much all I really have to talk about today. Since today is the last day, again, I'll say that I am believing God for this page to have at least 100 likes by the end of the day, because my goal, I told you guys this yesterday, my goal, I just said it like a couple of weeks ago, for this page to have 100 likes by the end of the year. And today's the last day of the year. So I'm believing God for that. And so then tomorrow we're going to see it, and it's going to be awesome. And I'm really excited about that. So yeah, thanks for watching. If I got something else to say, I'll come back on. But yeah, this might be it. So if I don't come back on, Happy New Year. Hope you guys have an awesome New Year.